guys, welcome back to the Sound of Manchester. This is Prathamesh, and I am extremely delighted to announce that Donny Van De Beek has joined Manchester United officially from AFC Ajax for a fee of 40 million euros plus 5 million add-ons, and he's joined the club for a 5-year deal. So it's a wonderful, wonderful news for all Manchester United fans who have been waiting for a transfer news, including Kushagar and Anurag, who I have shared this moment along with. And I would like to welcome Donny Van De Beek by saying, you have come to the biggest club in the world with a huge responsibility on your shoulders. But everybody at the club is going to support you. And as they say in Dutch, welkom. So I would like to gather the initial thoughts of Anurag and Kushagra. Kushagra, so obviously, we have been talking a lot about signings, but here is number one. So what do you have as initial feeling?
Oh, I'm really happy. I'm a bit surprised because this seems like too intelligent a deal for United to do. So I'm pleasantly surprised that they went for Van de Beek instead of actually spending twice the amount on Jack Grealish, or maybe a little more than that on James Maddison or someone like that. So really happy with the purchase. I think he's a very, very versatile player. He's a proven player on the continent. He was fantastic for Ajax last season and the season before as well, especially during their run to the Champions League semis. I remember him scoring at the Bernabeu as well. So he's a fantastic player, huge expectations from him. And, just a little, my 2 cents there would be signing him actually helps, increase the number of first choice players that United have. And that I think he can fit into the midfield in place of either of the three players that we have in the midfield right now. And, and we'll not see a quality drop as such. So extremely happy. This is just the start, I hope. But really happy and well done to United. It's a strange feeling.
Anurag, what would you like to say?
I mean, pretty much spot on with. I pretty much agree with what Kushagra said, and I think whatever I say, it'll sort of be a repetition of what he said in slightly different tweaked words. But yeah, I mean, even I was surprised, especially the pace at which the deal happened. I think that is the most surprising thing of all. Okay, United maybe. They were extremely smart to go for Donny Van De Beek instead of a Jack Grealish or a Maddison. That's true. But the pace at which this happened, on a Saturday morning, we were not even talking about Donny Van De Beek. And Sunday night, we get a confirmation from Fabrizio Romano that Van De Beek has signed. And we got a here we go. And that inside 48 hours. I know, like, my dream record is of that Fabinho record, morning, transfer rumor in the morning and a confirmation in the evening. And I think that would be a real dream. But I think this is really, really close, especially for United fans all over the globe. I think they would be extremely happy with this because this is very, very fast for us. Because we know if there is a 40 million price tag, what we usually do is submit a 15 million initial bid. Then we sort of try to play around it, especially with clubs like Ajax. That's what we did with Sporting. I think we could have finished that Bruno deal way back early on in January. We could have made the entire top four chase a little more easier for ourselves. But that's not what we do. We make a lot of fuss about it. And for the first time, at least in my remembrance, I think this is one of the quickest deals that we made. And it really makes me happy. And a big, big thank you to one of our all-time greats, Edwin van der Sar. I think this man was a key behind this entire deal getting finished so easily and so smoothly. And yeah, as Kushagra rightly mentioned, he mentioned about the goal against Real Madrid, and he scored a brilliant goal against Tottenham as well in the semi-final, I think, in that 1-0 game, the first leg at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So yeah, he's a proven goal scorer. He scores when it matters the most. He gets into good positions, and right now we have 11 first choice players, and that's not good enough. I know all you need are 11 players, but that's not what happens in football, isn't it? Especially in a long season like this. Van de Beek adds quality. He adds quality to the bench. He adds quality to the playing 11. That's it. I think that sums him up, and I'm really, really delighted.
Yeah, it has just truly been a whirlwind last few days for us as United fans. As you said, we're not used to this quickness. It's like we have scouted the player, Then we are interested in the player. Then the player is interested in us. Then we talk to the player. Then the player tells his friends. Then
Yeah.
the friends tell the media. Then the player tells the family. Then he tells the training staff. Then we
He
do not
buys a
agree on
house.
the
He
team.
buys a house.
Yeah, he buys
He's
a
looking
house.
for houses. Sorry, he's looking for houses in the potential city that is
Yeah,
going to get transferred
in the
to.
Cheshire
My
area. Then he
God,
doesn't find
United
a house.
transfers, man.
Yeah.
United transfers. Oh
So
God.
those things are those things are a bread and butter for United fans in the transfer window. But as you said, huge thanks to Edwin van der Sar, to all the United fans who possibly not know him in terms of what he does. Right now, he's the sporting director, or the position which Arsene Wenger fondly mentioned, directing traffic for Ajax. And so he did his job really well for us and in that thing. So it's smart deal in so many ways. 48 hours to for in here we go is fantastic. So guys, I was thinking that since Donny Van De Beek is at the club, I was thinking a few possibilities where he could play. One was obviously, which I felt that Solskjaer might do, since of the conversations that have come out, is that Donny Van De Beek might play number 10. Pogba and Matic might play, your holding midfield, or Pogba might be slightly more box to box. But Bruno Fernandes might shift to an inside right kind of position, which Mata initially played under Louis van Gaal, which Bruno has played before for Portugal as well. So that is a possibility, is what I feel. But what do you guys look at?
Mm. Should I take with this, Anurag, or will
Yeah,
you
yeah,
Yeah,
start?
yeah.
yep, yep.
Okay.
You start.
Yeah. So I feel Donny Van De Beek is a little bit of a throwback player, because he is more of a classical central midfielder. He is not. So if you check his stats, of course, in the last season he had like 14 goals and 7 assists. So which would typically mark him out as an extremely, how do I say, extremely potent finisher, like a second striker, someone like that. So though I feel, whenever he has played for Netherlands, or whenever he used to play for Ajax when Frankie de Jong and all people were there, he used to play in a more withdrawn role, allowing the likes of Ziyech and company to actually be ahead. And he used to, I feel he used to provide them with the ball. So I feel, this will sort of lessen the burden on Bruno as well. This will lessen the burden on Pogba as well. They both don't need to keep going for killer passes, right? So just an interesting stat for you all. The pass accuracy for Bruno and Kevin De Bruyne last year was 78 and 77% respectively.
Yes.
You would expect that to be lower, because those two players try the most difficult passes in the game, and of course I'm not comparing the both of them. I'm just saying that's typical for an attacking midfielder. So in that sense, Van de Beek comes in at 84.2%. So he probably isn't as attacking as he's made out to be in the Eredivisie, and I feel that he has within him to play a slightly more withdrawn role than actually a number 10, more of an 8 or a 6 or somewhere in between. And I feel we got a great engine on him. He can play. He can play up and down, up and down. He can play box to box. So typically I would like for United to play with Van de Beek, Pogba, and Fernandes in the matches. Say suppose the matches against Palace or Fulham, or the teams basically that are below the top 8. I would like for him to definitely start. And of course, as much as rest as you can give to Matic, because I think Matic will be played in the bigger game. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good mix. Eventually, if you see, just as a final point, eventually if you see the biggest of big teams today, even Bayern Munich don't play with a certified holding midfielder. You can call Joshua Kimmich a
True.
holding midfielder, but he's bloody brilliant when it comes to going forward. He's got good vision, good passing, and he's got fantastic finishing as well. So he's not like your Busquets or like your Kante, who's just sitting and maybe can score the odd goal, right? So I
Yeah.
feel the world is moving slightly ahead. Is the typical CDMs like Matic. I think the world's moving beyond them now. So I think we need a more dynamic defensive midfielder to say. So someone like Thomas Partey, who's been linked to Arsenal, I think he'll be a good buy if they get him. And but yeah, I think Donny Van De Beek should be very good. I hope he settles down in the club very soon. And the thing that pleased me most was how desperate and how eager he was to join the club. That's really nice to know.
Indeed.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is fantastic to know. And Anurag, coming to you, because obviously now that we have signed and sealed Donny Van De Beek, it's a fantastic picture that we looked at when he signed for the club. So now there has been a lot of links, and like Kushagra has said, that world is moving beyond a typical holding midfielder. Obviously, we're being linked to hijack the Thiago deal from Liverpool, which can be another possible transfer. Upamecano has been talked a lot about, who you admire a lot. I think everybody does, but especially you have done a lot of work on Upamecano. And there are other deals also that have been talked about. Obviously, Sancho is ongoing speculation. So how do you look at the last few legs of the transfer market?
I think we were just sleeping all this while. Uh, See, I think this is one thing that I really hate about Edward Wood. I think, or the Manchester United hierarchy, whoever is in charge, Edward Wood, Matt Judge, whoever that is, I think they are just looking at October 5th, and I think somebody has just said them the league is starting on September 19th for us. I think they didn't have a clue before the Donny Van De Beek deal that the league is starting on September 19th. That is absolutely ridiculous. See, a player has to come. See, just in case, consider a player is signed on October the 2nd. Let's say the one of the people that we are currently linked up with. He comes in, he takes a little bit of time to settle, and maybe he has one or two off games. His confidence is already low. That confidence lowers down. That's not going to help. That's why a
Plus
preseason
14 days
very
of
is very
quarantine.
important. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's not going to help. It's not going to help. And especially if the position is very important, like center back, you better get him at least 10 days. So I hope the deal with, especially what we are listening with Upamecano, I think what a lot of the rival fans that have been talking about is he just signed a new contract. That's not possible. Blah blah blah. I think that was just put to ensure that Upamecano doesn't leave this summer for free. That is one of the biggest reasons. He still can be taken out of the club. Anyone can go and buy him if they can agree a fee with Leipzig. I think that is still possible. I understand they just signed a contract, but I think it is very much possible. It has happened in Germany before, and I think in
Yeah.
Germany you can expect different transfer sagas to happen, because I don't know, the rules are slightly subject
Yeah.
to various interpretations, and I think that's what a lot of people have been taking advantage of over the years. And I think United, if they can really get this, uh, I'll go on and record and say this. I think this will be a much bigger signing than Sancho, because I mean, just in terms of that he's a magnificent player. He sorts us out for the next 7-8 years. He loves carrying the ball forward. He dribbles past midfield sometimes to take it forward. If we saw that game against, I think, Atletico Madrid, where Atletico Madrid
Yeah.
have some very very strong midfield presence. There's Saul, there's a Koke.
Okay.
It's sort of difficult to get past them, and he was actually he was dribbling past them. Imagine there was a
Yeah.
time at United when we didn't have midfielders who would dribble,
Yeah.
and from that to now having a centre back who could carry the ball forward, who is uh, that is a small picture actually. Upamecano sometimes does get into trouble by doing
Yeah.
so, and that's obvious. I think that shouldn't be a problem, because most of the times he's going to pull off what he's trying to do. He's got that
There are
quality.
more
He's
pros
got
than
the pace.
cons.
He's got the energy. I think he's sort of like a slightly more upgraded version of Koulibaly with plus the dribbling skills that he has. So that's a deal that currently is being talked about a lot, but I honestly don't think that's going to happen as of now. Let's see. If it happens, that will be huge, absolutely huge. But I still doubt. I think we'll still end up with a Pau Torres or a uh, oh, oh my God, Badiashile. I'm sorry. Yeah,
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 Benoit Badiashile.
Yeah. So just one
Badiashile. So
last
I
thing.
think.
Yeah. Just one last thing
So
to
I
our
think these are the
fans.
targets
Yeah.
that look more realistic. Yeah, this I'm just a second. So these are the
Yeah.
targets I think which are going to be a little more realistic for us. But if we really are able to get it, I'm just hope for it.
Yeah. So another the one thing that you mentioned, just one last brief to our fans, that the Upamecano release clause, as per the German rules and as per the clause that has been set, this is the same thing as Timo Werner, where this clause allows clubs to trigger that release clause, 42 million euros release clause until the end of the season. So this is not going to be a release clause that is going to be valid at the end of the next season. It is going to be until the end of the next season. And if by that time any club does not trigger that release clause, then there will automatically be a new contract trigger that will be signed on to Upamecano's deal. So then the release clause automatically increases, and then his contract also automatically increases. So the German clubs, they usually do this sort of complicated thing to make sure that none of their players leave for free after what happened with Joel Matip. So, I think there is a lot of thought that actually went into this contract. So, it's a little tricky, but that is what the rule says, and that's what the interpretation is. So, interesting few days coming up for Manchester United fans. Obviously, Donny Van De Beek is here, and as Fabrizio said, here we go. We are going to see him go and play for Manchester United at Old Trafford very soon. So thank you guys. Thank you for your reactions, and let's hope for a more exciting transfer window ahead.
Thanks, mate.